China, with her vast rivers and towering mountains, spans 5 time zones and thousands of miles. These spectacular peaks and nourishing waters sustain countless forms of life. We will range far and wide, visiting some of the most fascinating corners of this enchanted land and admiring the charms of wild China. In the southeast of the Qingzhang Gaoan, the world's highest spot, are a great number of most spectacular valleys on planet Earth. The prime examples among them are the Yarlung-Sangpo Grand Canyon and the 3 Parallel Rivers area. Now, let us pay a visit to these 2 geological wonders and ecological havens. The Yarlung-Sangpo is the longest river on the Qingzhang Gaoan. Warded by the Himalayas, this mighty river has to turn eastward and carve its way off the highland. After flowing for some 1,500 kilometers, it arrives at 2 peaks, towering an altitude of 7,000 meters. This area, marked by the 2 mountains, is where the Indian and Eurasian plates meet. The raging river squeezes between the 2 mountains before describing a sweeping curve. It follows the seam between the continental plates and then pours downward, cutting an immense canyon over 500 kilometers in length, before emptying into the Bay of Bengal. This is the Yarlung-Sangpo Grand Canyon, the world's deepest and largest canyon. Lying at one of the highest points on Earth, the canyon is among its most intense areas of crustal activity. Frequent collapses and landslides add to the difficulty of approaching the area. It wasn't until 1994 that Chinese scientists first measured the canyon's depth. At its deepest, it plunges 6,009 meters down, the height of a 2,000-story building, or twice the depth of the Grand Canyon in Colorado. This is the latest and most detailed high-definition aerial footage revealing the depths of the canyon. The clashing of the Eurasian and Indian plates is visible here, where the Yarlung-Sangpo River, constrained with a gap less than 30 meters across, crashes against the rock on its banks. The enormous kinetic force released by the river seems to shake the mountain on both sides. The marked difference in altitude presents a condensed panorama of all 4 seasons of the year. From freezing glaciers to snow-covered deserts, temperate coniferous forests to subtropical mixed forests and tropical monsoon forests. 9 natural zones are stacked on both sides of the canyon. The extreme landforms and varied climates have endowed the area with some of the richest biodiversity in the world. A rare primate hides deep in the canyon's forests. It was first identified in 2015 by Chinese scientists as a new branch of the primate order. This medium-sized primate has a white patch running from ear to ear and extending under the neck. Because of this, it's called the white-cheeked macaque. The white-cheeked macaque's population is hard to estimate. The forests are not the best place to feed and survive. The macaque has evolved so that it gets sustenance from just leaves and twigs. Some 500 kilometers to the southeast of the Yarlung Sangpo Grand Canyon lies a miraculous land. In 1985, scientists examining satellite photographs located 3 major rivers here, running from north to south. In what is a rare geographical phenomenon, they flow in parallel for 170 kilometers without intersecting. With its unusual juxtaposition of valleys and canyons, the area is known as 3 parallel rivers. The easternmost of the 3 rivers, the Jinsha, forms the upper reaches of China's longest river, the Yangtze. Some 46 kilometers to the west is the Langkang River. Flowing out of China, it links Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and is Southeast Asia's largest international waterway. A further 19 kilometers to the west is the major river of southwest China, the Nujiang. Deep in the dense forest on the west banks lives a mysterious golden monkey breed. Clad in dark grayish fur, these elusive creatures have been classified in 2010 by Chinese scientists as a new golden monkey species and dubbed the Nujiang golden monkey. Not all golden monkeys have yellow fur, but its distinctive nose identifies it as a member of the snub-nosed group. The Nujiang golden monkey, one of 5 golden monkey species worldwide, has an estimated population of around 400. This dense forest is their only known habitat. The Nujiang golden monkey has the ability to identify more than 90 edible plants and lichens. Within the 3 parallel rivers area, there are 118 peaks, rising to over 5,000 meters. These are the Mallee Snow Mountains, rising to 6,740 meters. Here, the highest peak is shrouded in clouds and mist throughout the year. The massive plunging river gorges have divided the highland into separate ecological zones, creating a new level of species diversification. Across the canyon, the golden monkey has branched out to produce a distinctive new variety. Yunnan golden monkey, a close cousin of the Nujiang golden monkey. It lives at a higher altitude than any other member of its species. Yunnan golden monkeys are distinguished by their voluptuous lips. In autumn, the search for food leads them to lower-lying areas. Constant climbing and leaping are part of their daily life. However, the group's muscular leader has encountered a problem. The trees ahead have particularly slender branches, making it almost impossible to pass. The leader has to slow down and demonstrate how to negotiate the tricky situation. Yunnan golden monkeys nurse their young for 12 months and give birth every 2 years. The more experienced mothers allow their offspring to go exploring. Only through practice can useful life skills be learnt. In the Three Parallel Rivers area, huge altitude differences and varied ecology have allowed the rhododendron to split into over 200 varieties. As a result, this region is a center of the plant's origin and geographic distribution. In the flowering season, the various blossoms cover the valleys with a colorful carpet. This floral treasure trove has been drawing botanists for over a century. Many plant varieties that are popular in Europe can trace their ancestry back here. The tall Rheum nobile, its pagoda-like bracts, conserve the heat in freezing temperatures and shield the delicate pistils from the elements. Because of the sudden gales, many plants keep a low profile. They stay close to the ground, standing shoulder to shoulder with one another. Amid the bare formations higher up, where the rock is constantly being weathered, the plants have become a cushion, adhering to the surface. This strange plant, with its hairy coat, has earned itself the nickname snow rabbit. Bare rock formations are found both at higher altitudes and on the valley floor. Dry, hot river valleys are a major feature of the Three Parallel Rivers area. In certain enclosed sections, the deep valleys intensify the foehn wind effect. The resultant hot and arid microclimate strips the vegetation from the rocks. The only way for the inhabitants to survive is to adapt and reshape themselves. The animals walking along the cliff are dwarf blue sheep, so called because they are about half the size of other blue sheep. The emerald lizard is more flamboyant. These turquoise-colored creatures are very nimble, but their population is small, and they were only identified in 2016. The sheer cliffs deter most predators. However, the scarcity of food here and resultant hunger have caused the dwarf blue sheep's small size. Yet they have discovered an unlikely food source. This is the only plant that thrives in the river valley: the cactus. The prickly plant has a bitter, pungent taste, but the dwarf blue sheep endures the pain and gathers the sturdy plant for its food. Here, hardiness is essential for staying alive. But accepting a smaller stature isn't the only way to survive among the highland canyons. In the Duolong River Canyon, the takins prefer to bulk themselves up. The Mishmi takin tips the scales at 400 kilos. These ferocious creatures are the strongest takins in the world. Although this is a minor stream during the driest months of the year, the currents are still formidable. Even the strongest takin has to tread carefully to negotiate the rushing waters. The Three Parallel Rivers area is home to numerous legacies from the Quaternary period. These perfectly symmetrical U-shaped valleys were sculpted during that distant era. The glaciers have left some even more spectacular sights in these parts. The two bodies of water at a 3,400-meter altitude are typical moraine lakes. Further down is an odd-shaped swamp. Legend has it that the fields were fashioned by the residents of heaven to provide earthly mortals with water all year round. Now let's return to the Yarlung Sangpo Grand Canyon. At its southern end, ample rainfalls have created a rainforest spectacle right beside the moraine lake. This moraine lake is perched beside the Yarlung Zangbo River. Surrounded by dense forest, it lies nearly 1,000 meters above the river below. Here, every inch is crammed with life. The extreme density, humidity, and heat can drive intruders to despair. This region has one of the highest densities of tree frogs in China. Dozens of new varieties have been identified here. At nightfall, the noise begins. The cross-barred tree frog is unique to the canyon. Its small frame measures just 5 to 6 centimeters. This is their most vital time of the year. With bated breath, the frogs are ready to spring into action. Their destination is the giant tree by the waterside. A strong female is making the ascent, carrying its smaller male partner. A secret bridal chamber is hidden among the lush foliage of the parasitic orchids. More loving couples are converging on the area. Also, many single males have arrived in the hope of finding a mate. The flexible, slender orchid leaves afford them an ideal bed. In a week's time, the spawn stuck to the leaves will hatch and tadpoles will drop into the water, starting a new life cycle. In May, the warm, humid air current from the Bay of Bengal dominates the climate. Frequent showers bring the average annual precipitation up to 2.3 meters. The humidity and heat can be stifling. Elsewhere on the Qingzhangao Wan, it's early spring, but occasional snowfalls sometimes halt spring's advance. After their wintry residence, the black-necked cranes are getting ready to depart. They spend only part of the year at the Yarlung Zangpo Grand Canyon, but they never leave the highland. There are 15 species of crane worldwide. The black-necked crane was the last to be named. The wetland at the mouth of the canyon is one of their main winter habitats. After the snow, the temperature is creeping up. One by one, the cranes take off, beating their wings in the balmy breeze. They bid farewell to the canyon and head for their summer breeding ground deeper into the highland. Behind the birds stands the towering Namjag Barwa Feng. Remarkably, it's still growing at an annual rate of 30 millimeters. Amid this cluster of canyons, with its juxtaposition of rivers and valleys, is found some of the most remarkable species divergence and biodiversity on the planet.